SiriusXM is where moments happen, and you'll find them here 24/7. In music, talk, sports, comedy, and news. Live and on demand. And they're on in your car, online, or on the app so you won't miss a thing. Visit SiriusXM.ca/never miss a beat. Oh yeah, we made it. Welcome to the very last episode of CMA Connected for 2020, our Christmas edition. I'm your host, Ben Wu. And today, boys and girls, today we have a treat. Sometimes things work out and sometimes things line up and we get lucky. And I feel today we are lucky because our guest today is none other than long-time brand and entity and staple in the car audio business, and that is Kicker Audio. And of course, joining us from a Canadian perspective is their Canadian distributor, Gemsen, and with them comes a gentleman and a friend, Mr. Dave Singh. But before we get into that, really wanted to take this moment to thank you guys, the viewers, the 12-volt Canadian industry, all you dealers out there for supporting Canadian mobile audio. When we launched this thing, obviously it was, we started with the expo that was supposed to go on, and of course that didn't happen. And we quickly transitioned, into CanadianMobileAudio.com, and then through our Facebook page and our Facebook groups. Next thing you know, we're doing a podcast, and here we are, December, just about Christmas time, and things are really looking exciting for 2021. And I just wanted to personally take this opportunity to thank you guys, thank all the distributors who have supported us, thanks to all the installers who have given us insight and their advice, and thanks to all the dealers for paying attention and engaging with us and watching podcasts like this so that we could keep them going and hopefully bring them to the next level, really, moving forward to 2021. Okay, so here we are. We're locked in, guys. It's lunch. It's our last podcast, and we're talking about Kicker Audio. I want to bring on my good friend, Dave Singh from Gemsen. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, Ben. How you doing, man?
Man, I'll tell you what, Dave. We were saying, we chit-chatted a little bit earlier on the week, and you and I go pretty far back. You've been in the game a long time, and it's great to see that you're still in it. And not only are you still in it, thriving, and you're looking good, son.
Well, I'm a little bit grayer than I was probably,
Seriously? You're going to go there?
At least Mother Nature's being, teasing me. It's starting to gray low and gradually making its way up. But
you see, look, you have fans. You haven't even been on 10 seconds and you got fans already. Look at that.
There you go.
All right, so let's cut to the chase, Dave. We're going to save the one-on-one Dave Singh Ben Wu interview for another day. Today, it's about Kicker. But, really important to talk about is the relationship that Kicker has had with Gemsen in Canada. How long has that been?
Well, before I get into that, let me just mention, Gemsen's been around for almost 40 years. And a lot of the relationships that we have with the brands that we do span quite a long time. And Kicker's one of them. We've been doing Kicker for about 15 years now. And part of that reason is they are great people to deal with. We're a relationship-based company, and we enjoy working with people that are, the same type of mindset and, good people overall. It makes doing business so much easier when you respect one another and you have the same direction and core values at the end of the day. So they're a great company. We love them.
Well, I got to say, Dave, that is a testament to not only you, yourself, and your teammates and your colleagues at Gemsen, but that type of long-standing relationship means a lot because, as you know, and everybody who's watching knows, a lot has changed over that time. And for you guys to still be there together as partners, I think is a testament to the type of relationship you guys have. And that's really great to see. So congratulations about that.
Well, sometimes it's challenging times that you're dealing with, and there's a lot of great times as long as you can keep a positive attitude and work your way through it, things always work out in the end, right?
Well, you talk about working with people and great relationships. Well, I'm going to let you bring on our specialist representing Kicker. Why don't you bring him on for us?
Yeah, so we're really excited to make this happen. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Kicker has a great entity within its company called the Kicker Tech Force, and they're the global training arm of Kicker. So today we have with us Aaron Malin. He's a global training manager for the Kicker Tech Force. And, you know, we're going to go through some mild to wild products that Kicker has to offer. So let's get Ben. Let's get Aaron on the line.
Absolutely. And here's a little treat for you guys. Now, I wasn't expecting this, but bro, when I say like Kicker stepped it up. So like,
oh, they did. Yeah.
Let's check this out. Aaron Malin coming live from the Kicker Unmasked studio. What's going on, Aaron?
Hello, good morning. Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas, sir.
I've got my holiday beverage, and it is Popcorn Wednesday at Kicker, so I got a little treat to eat and drink. Thank you guys for having us on today. Very excited about this.
I think honestly, the pleasure is all ours. As you know, CMA Connected, we get a chance to sit down with Canadian dealers, distributors, and products and go deep. Now, unfortunately, and I say unfortunately only because Kicker's got such a wide array of products and offerings, we're not going to be able, just to set the expectation, we're not going through the entire lineup today. We're going to save that for another opportunity. But what we are going to do, Aaron, is I want you to help us get to know and get intimate with maybe two products that we kind of thought were really interesting and deserved a little bit of spotlight time.
Well, Dave Bork called it out. He said that box is a beast, and he's right. This is the Kicker Quad box, and if you've been following Kicker Unmasked, we're actually in the Unmasked studio here. If you look around, this is the Kicker Unmasked studio, and if you've been following Unmasked at all, we actually are in the process of giving away one of these quad boxes.
Wow.
And the quad box is, well, it's a base head starter kit. If you want to hit 150 decibels out of the box, this is your solution. This is 4 L712Rs. It is 2 terminal cups, so 2 2-ohm terminal cups. It is obviously a massive enclosure that is tuned or ported at 31 cycles. Now the port is actually being covered up on the bottom of the box right here, but we're going to show you a video in just a second that takes you through the inside of the box. But what's important to know is that this enclosure will give you incredible amounts of deep pounding bass with very little effort. Now, of course, you need the proper amplifier to back it up. You need the proper charging system. You need all the cables and connectors and installation components to make that happen. But when you are set up properly with this enclosure, it's going to blow your mind. Now, I did talk about the inside and the tuning. I want to run a short video that shows you the inside. Hey, Kip, can you cue up that video for us? We want to show you the inside of this enclosure. So what you're going to see here is a rendering of what goes on inside the box. Obviously, it is thick carpeting, and that's to keep it intact and looking nice for years to come. But the construction has to be absolutely superb in order to get all of the bass. As you guys know, if you're a box builder, if you've ever done your own subwoofer enclosures, box is just as important as the woofers you choose. Because if you've got a great woofer like an L7R and you put it in an incorrectly designed and built enclosure, it is not going to give you the performance you're expecting. So this box is massive construction. We're using birch plywood, that's the good stuff. It definitely costs more to use that, but it is lighter and stronger than the more traditional materials. And of course, you've got the kerfed style port. It's actually a flared port, and it's not true kerfing. We actually have, I forget what the process is called, but essentially it is a smoothed wood, curved wood port. So it gives you that incredible airflow in and out of the enclosure at that tuning frequency and beyond. So for anyone who knows me as the 40 hertz guy, yes, it does play well below 40 hertz, so don't worry about that.
I have to tell you, Aaron, that is one impressive piece of hardware. Just the sheer size of it has me at like, whoa. But I have a few questions here, and I think I'm going to start with, just so I understand this properly, this is a drop-in solution. This is a literally, it comes with those 4 huge drivers and ready to plug an amplifier to.
Yes,
so,
that's correct.
I guess my question is, what kind of customer, Dave, in Canada have you seen have interest for this type of setup?
Well, this is going to be for the guy that drives the Fiat 500, carries around his stroller and his kids, and wants to carries his groceries too. Now, obviously, look, it's not a box for everybody, but I think we've all heard the term, live and lab by Kicker. And, one of the things that Kicker's always been known for is impressive output. And, there's such a huge resurgence in high performance, high output systems lately. A lot of SPL systems being built once again. And this is the perfect product to cater to, the needs of that person, that's looking for just ridiculous amounts of output. And hopefully we'll be able to see. I think we saw it in the rendering. The port is just massive. I mean, the amount of bass that you get out of this is phenomenal. But once again, for a guy that is just looking for ultimate SPL, lots of output, lots of fun.
So more follow-up questions. Is there a strapping system built in so that this thing isn't like knocking around and breaking windows? Because I mean, that is a big piece of gear to put into the back of, like you said, your 500 Fiat.
Your question is very important and seldom asked, Ben. Yes, it does come with some steel L brackets to securely mount it to the vehicle. Because once this thing is in your vehicle, it needs to be securely mounted, because if maybe you slam on the brakes, or you're doing some, shall we say, spirited driving, you definitely want to have this thing bolted down. And actually, it looks like Tim, thank you, Tim. Tim has brought us over an example of the steel mounting plate that it comes with. So Tim's going to give us a close-up
on that. Yeah, let's get a close-up on that.
Tim will give us a close-up on this. This is the steel mounting plate that it comes with, 4 of these. And then, of course, here's the bolts. So you bolt this plate to the box, and then you bolt it to the vehicle. And yes, so it is securely mounted.
Very, very cool.
Good
Now,
question,
my next question to that is, I feel it's a very unique product. How much does that weigh total?
That's a good question. I want to say it's about, hey, Kip, can you tell me the weight of the quad box off the top of your head? About 120 pounds, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got to be at least 100 pounds.
I thought I heard 180 or something like that, but that might be Canadian.
It actually weighs more than my wife, so there, let's just go with that.
Perfect. Now, okay, in all seriousness, though, if I'm looking at that, I'm like thinking, yeah, man, that's like Instabox, right? Instabase in a box. What kind of power would you recommend to optimize the performance of that setup right there?
Well, each of these woofers like 600 watts RMS, 600 watts continuous. So total package, we need about 2,400 watts continuous power, RMS power, to really make it bang. Now, if you want to go more than that, okay, just make sure you gain the system or gain the amplifier properly. Make sure that you tune your crossovers properly. You always want to use a properly tuned subsonic filter. Subsonic filter, for those who are not familiar with that, anytime you're using a ported enclosure or a tuned enclosure, you're going to have 12 dB of roll-off below the tuning point. So for this box, it's tuned at 31 hertz. So at 12 dB roll-off, you want to have a properly set up subsonic filter, which protects the woofers from over-excursion with frequencies that are below the tuning. So when you've got the proper amplifier power and the proper tuning, 2,400 watts is great. You could go more, but you can also go a little bit less. Let's say that you start out with this quad box and you've got enough money left over for maybe a 1,200 watt amplifier. Okay, great. Start with 1,200 watts. It'll work, no problem. In fact, little known, well, I shouldn't say little known fact. Here's a fact that's often misunderstood. In order to double your SPL, to double your bass, you have to double your power or double your cone area. So for example, if you've got a 1,200 watt amplifier on this enclosure, you're going to get an incredible amount of bass. In fact, you're only going to be approximately 3 dB down from having 2,400 watts. So if you start with a 1,200 watt amplifier, you're still going to get great performance. Then when you've got some more bank, go get a second 1,200 watt kicker amplifier, add that to it, and now you're going to have double the power. You're going to gain at least another 3 dB.
So on that note, if I'm running, let's say your suggested first, call it stage 1 with that 1,200 watt amplifier, do I need to be aware of any other modifications as far as alternator or the batteries? Can that run off my OE system?
Ben, you're asking all the right questions. Did we practice this? No. So now with a 1,200 watt amplifier, if you've got a pretty modern car, pretty stout charging system, you're probably okay. You want to make sure you've got good power and ground connections. We want to always recommend oxygen-free copper. All of Kicker amplifier installation components are oxygen-free copper. So you're going to want to run your 4 gauge minimum. Go up to 8 gauge would be better. But as long as you're running high quality cabling, you've got a solid battery and a strong alternator, with a single 1,200, you're probably okay. But if you're going to step up to 2 of these, you better make sure your charging system can handle it. Because yes, that will perfect the performance, absolutely.
Okay, very well. I'm going to switch over to Dave here real quick. Dave, what are we talking about here, MSRP in Canada for this giant behemoth of a box?
Well, first of all, I got to give everybody a heads up. If you're buddies with your UPS driver, he is going to hate you the day this thing gets sent to your store for delivery, because it's, as you guys can see, it's just a massive box. 4 12L7s, of course, those are some of the best performing drivers that Kicker has to offer. So you're looking at a full suggested retail of $23.99 Canadian. But there's no other options that are out in the market that we've seen that offers this type of performance in this sort of package. The workmanship inside that enclosure itself is just a masterpiece for sure.
I really appreciate, Aaron, the 3D video you showed, showing exactly, to Dave's point, the craftsmanship, the type of baffling that's going on, and the porting and all that. So no question in my mind, the folks at Kicker have taken the time to engineer that box to optimize the performance from those specific drivers, of course, matched up to those amplifiers. I think you're in for some deep bass.
And like Aaron was saying, Ben, start small with the amplifier. I mean, doubling your power only gives you 3 dB. That's like just turning the knob of your radio a couple of clicks, right? So you're better off running, something that's going to be easier on your electrical system than having something that's just enormously large and causes more problems than it's worth, right? And that amplifier that Aaron's going to talk about is a good choice.
Yeah, why don't you talk to us real quick about that amplifier there, Aaron?
Okay, so I picked up the 1800 this time. We've actually got a 1200.1 and an 1800.1. And if I was going to start with just one amplifier and I had the money, I would use the 1800.1, because this is going to give you, of course, 600 more watts than the 1200 one. So this would be a good place to start. And this does have a subsonic filter. It is a fixed subsonic filter. It is at 25 hertz, 24 dB per octave. So it is going to protect those woofers from ultra deep bass and over excursion. And of course, it has a low pass filter, and it's got 40 volt inputs. So if you're adding this amplifier to a high powered factory installed audio system, there's a really good chance you won't need to buy any line output converters or anything like that, because this will handle up to 400 watts, 40 volts straight into the RCA inputs. So it's a very versatile amplifier, great performer, and solid bass.
I gotta say, that is also aesthetically very clean. The amplifier line has obviously changed so much over the years, but that rendition right there, super slick. Kudos to the design on that.
Oh, thank you. It's all done in-house.
All right, speaking of in-house, let's shift, because there's some really cool product you have in front of you there, Aaron, and I want to get into it because I really feel that this is a product that might not get the play that it deserves. And Dave, we spoke about this. This is a segment that I feel is really key for a lot of dealers. And why don't I let you talk about what we're about to discuss here?
Well, obviously we saw the Wild product. The Quad L7 is just totally off the charts. But for the mild portion of this segment, one of the big things that everybody's looking for is better sound. And if you drive a brand new car or even an older car, it doesn't matter what year it is, and you enjoy spending time in your car and you want better performance, sometimes it's not in your budget to go with a full-blown system where you're doing multiple amplifiers, separate outboard DSPs, replacing speakers, so on and so forth. So what I wanted Aaron to show you was a couple of products that Kicker has to offer that with minimal effort basically deliver the type of performance you'd get out of spending $1,500, $2,500 doing an upgrade in your system. So maybe we can talk about the key amplifiers first, Aaron.
For sure. Here we have the Key 200.4. This is, for lack of a better term, magic. And the idea, as you said, is to take an average sounding stock factory installed system and make it sound like a Kicker quality amplifier, our Kicker quality system. And so what this amplifier does, and there's so much to talk about, I could spend an hour just talking about this amplifier, but I'll give you the key highlights. Yeah, see what I did there, Key? Obviously, it's very small. So you've got a tiny amplifier. It's 200 watt continuous power, 200 watts RMS. So it's plenty of power for a normal, average, everyday system. And it can run in what's called 4-channel mode or biamp mode. Now, what is biamp mode? Biamp mode means you've got 2 amplifier channels for the tweeters, 2 amplifier channels for the mid-range or door speakers. And that gives you something really special we'll talk about in just a minute, so we'll come back to that. So it's a 4-channel amp that can run 4-channel or in biamp mode. In addition, it has the ability to tune the speakers to the vehicle in which you're driving and listening to music. So it comes with this microphone. Once the amplifier has been properly installed, we put this microphone, which is included, we put this microphone on the headrest of your driver's position, your driver's seat. And the microphone will help the amplifier analyze the speakers that are in the vehicle. It also analyzes the interior, the acoustics of the vehicle, and then it matches the output of the amplifier to those speakers to your vehicle. Now, you've heard the term DSP, digital signal processing. DSP can be an amazing addition to any system if it's tuned properly. If you're not great at tuning, or you have no interest in learning how to tune, or you just want it done right the first time, the amplifier tunes it for you with this microphone. So it goes through a whole lot of different parameters of these speakers and the acoustics, and it just fine-tunes the output. So you can start with this amplifier with factory-installed speakers, a factory-installed radio, and it will give you incredible sound from those factory-installed components. Now, let's say you want to go to stage 2. You want to upgrade those speakers to something better. Well, once you upgrade those speakers, you retune the system using the microphone, and now the amplifier adjusts itself for your upgraded speakers, giving you even more sound improvements, even better sound quality from your aftermarket equipment. And this, again, this works with your factory-installed radio. In fact, in most cases, we would rather use the factory-installed radio because, as you're aware, a lot of factory-installed radios control more than just the sound of the vehicle. A lot of other things about the vehicle run through that radio. So this allows you to have an easy upgrade, maintain the integrity of what the car came with, and get kicker quality sound. Now, I mentioned biamping a minute ago. This is where the real magic happens. When you've got a set of tweeters that are up on your dash, and you've got mid-range speakers in your doors, one of the many problems with that setup is the tweeters are far away from the mid-range. So your ears are hearing the high frequencies up here, and they're hearing the mid-range way down low. So your brain has to put all this information together, and it just doesn't do a great job of giving you a natural, lifelike sound stage. Because of the digital signal processing in the amplifier will analyze the distance between those speakers, and then it will acoustically correct that speaker distance. So it makes it sound like the mid-range is up on the dash next to the tweeter. So it gives you a much more realistic sounding sound stage across the top of the dash of your car. It also will correct for frequency response, as I mentioned earlier. So it listens to those speakers, those tweeters and those mid-ranges, and it finds out where they have too much sound or too little sound, and it corrects all of those parameters so those speakers sound balanced and natural. So it goes from a pretty average sounding audio system to something truly magical. And my favorite part of this whole setup is the demo button. There is a button built into the microphone that, after it has done its setup, which only takes about 6 to 8 minutes, after it's done its setup, you can listen to before, after, before, after. So you can actually hear what the magical DSP has done for your audio system.
Wow, I'm pretty impressed with what I've heard so far about this system. Got a couple of questions based on what you've just said. The first thing I want to comment on is that microphone and the way that it's analyzing sound is reminiscent of high-end home theater systems. When you're getting to that big DSP home theater system, you put that mic, it takes time to analyze, but to able to have that all built in on a small little amplifier like that for the car, awesome. I think that's super cool. The second question I have is, you mentioned, Aaron, about upgradability. So let's say now you sell this customer on this small upgrade, right, that helps improve the sound in their existing OE equipment. How can I now parlay that into an upgrade sale to give them more power and take that next step into even better sound? Does that, or do I have to take that out and replace it?
Now, there's a couple different ways you could go. So let's say the 200 watts sounds great, but now you want more oomph. We can actually use this amplifier as a line driver DSP. So I can take a Kicker CXA amplifier, a 360.4. I can take that amplifier, put it into the system, take the output, the already amplified output of this DSP controlled key amplifier, and now I've got a high powered DSP controlled system. So yes, I can continue to add on to it. And then if I want to add some real deep sub bass, of course, I've got another key amplifier, monoblock subwoofer amplifier. So then we can go that direction as well.
So it sounds like you can actually build a whole system just with the key lineup.
That is correct. If we can we talk a few minutes about the Key 501?
You bet, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, so the Key 501, which I'm going to pick it up, Tim, I just want to give the folks a comparison. This is a 500 watt monoblock amplifier, subwoofer amplifier, that is not a whole lot bigger than the 200 watt 4-channel. And as I said, it's monoblock, so it's designed for subwoofers specifically. But it also has this key DSP technology built in. Now, if you've ever been in, let's say, a Ford Focus, a very common car in Canada, it's a very affordable car, and in fact, one of my training partners, he's got a Ford Focus. When you turn up the factory radio in that Ford Focus, at some point, the bass no longer gets any louder, although the mid-range and treble continues to get louder. We call it bass roll-off. So if you install a traditional non-smart amplifier with that factory installed radio, you're going to get some sub bass, but you're never going to get the full range of deep sub bass because the factory radio is rolling it off. This amplifier will analyze your factory installed electronics, and it will help to minimize or correct that bass roll off. So it will actually improve the sub-bass response of your factory installed system. So no matter what kicker subwoofer you add, you're guaranteed to get proper deep bass response because of the DSP in the amplifier.
Wow.
Hey,
I was going to say, Dave, what comments do you have to add to this?
No, I was going to share a quick little story about that. So the 204 is the replacement amplifier for the predecessor. And a couple of years ago, when they first came out with this product, I was at, I believe it was Cma, and they had one installed into a Fiat 500. I sat down inside, and Ben, you know me, I'm a pretty mellow guy. In terms of excitement level, right now I'm at like a 7. So I sat in this car, and John Myers was doing a demo, and explaining the technology and DSP and some of the benefits of what Kicker, the solution for Kicker, brings to the table. And one of the important things is, look, you can spend a lot of time tuning a DSP amplifier, and we're not telling people not to do that. But there are customers that simply just don't have that budget, right? And this is a great solution for that type of customer, where you press the button and 5 minutes later, all the work is done for you. Going back to the demo, so I sat down, and John did a quick little demo, and I listened to the system first, in the original stock configuration, and then he pressed the button. And Dave Singh mellow factor went from 7 to like 32. I was like, wow, I'm blown away. I did a video on it on Facebook. It was, and I think the microphone on the iPhone even picked it up. It was such a phenomenal difference. It took the soundstage from sounding very dull, everybody's down at your foot level, and all of a sudden, using the factory speakers in this application, you can upgrade the speakers, but you don't always have to. Using the factory speakers, there was a soundstage. You could hear the guitar on the right. You could hear the drummer in the middle. You could hear percussion on the left. None of that existed before. And doing that demo in front of the customer, toggling back and forth, I'm telling you, it like I said, it sounded like you just invested $2,500 into that sound system easily, and all it was is an amplifier upgrade.
All right. I got 2 questions for you, Aaron, and thank you for that story. Dave, first, actually, Dave, while I have you, what are we talking about for retail on the first unit? The base.
So, actually, both amplifiers are priced the same. Retail on them is $399.
Wow.
So it's very reasonable.
Wow. So for $399 Canadian, you can literally upgrade your factory system to sound like nothing like it was originally planned to sound like. I'm curious about something, Aaron. What about higher end cars that come with, time alignment DSP? Is there an on-off switch for this, and I can use it just as amplification?
Yes, in fact, that was part of the design parameters from the very beginning, because there are some very common vehicles, like down here in the States, you have the Chevy Colorado, which is just a base model pickup, and it actually has what's called all-pass filters. And all-pass filters are used at the OEM level to give you a simulated stage and image, like Dave explained, but they do it so that whether you're in the driver's seat or the passenger seat, it kind of gives you a rough idea of some sort of staging and imaging. Now, those all-pass filters can be great if you're not going to go to the next level. So let's say you've got that Chevy Colorado and you've got those all-pass filters, and you're happy with that tuning from the passenger seat or the driver's seat. You can turn off the time correction in our amplifier so that we're not trying to stack hours on top of the factory time correction. Additionally, you can also turn off the kicker equalization. So let's say that you want it to sound very flat and monotone. Well, you can turn off the kicker kick EQ. Kick EQ gives us a little more lifelike musical representation, a little more boom. But if you don't want that, we can actually turn that off through the dip switches on the end panel as well. So great, good question. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, and you know what? That gives installers a lot of options, which is nice. And going back to the bass unit, the monoblock, when I think of bass, I like to have a bass knob. Is that something that's available with that unit?
Yes, it does have a bass knob option, and of course the bass knob is great because some songs you need a lot of boom, and some songs you don't really want the boom, or maybe you're listening to National Public Radio or CBC and you don't want everybody to sound like they've got a big puffed up chest like Dave Singh. So you can turn down the sub-level very easily from the dash.
All right, very, very cool. Well, that's it for my questions. That's my notes. I don't know, Dave, if you have anything else to add about those two units so far.
The only thing I want to point out is, the applications you have to keep in mind, are going to be not super complex cars. So, for example, if you drive a 2018 Audi RS3 with the B&O 28 speaker system, this is not the correct application, for that customer. But if you've got, a car that's got 6-8 speakers in the car, man, what a difference this will make with minimal amount of equipment involved.
Hey, Dave, what we've got to talk about was start-stop cars, because start-stop car technology has taken over the world. And, of course, with start-stop cars, what they're doing is when you come to a red light, the engine shuts down, and that way you're not burning fuel and contributing to global warming and all that great stuff. So when that car restarts, a traditional car stereo amplifier freaks out, goes, what's going on? The voltage is dropping, so the amplifier shuts down to protect itself, which means the music shuts down. So then the car restarts, and a few seconds later, the amplifier comes back on and the music starts again. Well, if you're an average guy like me, you don't want that happening to your music every time you come to a red light. So these amplifiers we're talking about here, they are all start-stop compatible, which just means when the car shuts down and then restarts, the music never shuts down and restarts.
Another very important and relevant selling feature, because that has been a topic of discussion quite a bit when it comes to custom installs on the newer vehicles like the diesel BMW X5s or any other. I mean, even the less expensive vehicles now have that feature. So it's going to be very significant to look at amplifiers with features such as that going forward.
So while we're talking about OEM integration and using the key fit amplifiers, you're going to run into applications where this may not be the correct amplifier. So one of the other products that I wanted us to talk about today was the new LOC device from Kicker. And I think Aaron Scott, he's got it right there on the table. And we'll explain, this isn't your regular run-of-the-mill LOC. Kicker's really put a lot of effort into it, and once Aaron goes through it, I think installers are going to have a really great appreciation for all the cool things that it has to offer.
So we talked about key technology in the 200.4 and the 501. The key LOC does everything we've already talked about, and then it does more. Now, this key LOC is a 2-channel model. It analyzes the factory audio signal that's coming into the key LOC, and then it's applying all the correction that we talked about with the 200.4, all the bass correction, subwoofer correction we talked about in the 500.1. It also has the ability to defeat or turn off the factory time correction and the factory all-pass filters. up to 3 independent all-pass filters. So let me give you a scenario. Let's say that you're working on one of those more elaborate cars like the Audi that Dave mentioned, and you already know that Audi has got some wicked processing going on from the factory, but the customer wants more. He wants to add kicker speakers, kicker subwoofers, kicker amplifiers, but he wants that factory integration. So we can do that using the Key LOC because it takes that factory installed audio system, it corrects everything we've already talked about, and then it gives you a clean output from the RCAs to go into any amplifiers. Hopefully they're kicker, but any brand of amplifier can take that output. And because we're talking high quality factory installed electronics, this does have a 40 volt input. That means if you've got a truly high power, like a 200 or 300 watt subwoofer amplifier in the car already from the factory, this RCA input, or excuse me, the high level input can accept that signal right into it without having to add a line output converter, and it'll give you a clean output signal up to 10 volts. So this is like a little piece of magic. And if you've been in an install bay for many years and you've got yourself an oscilloscope, you've got a real-time analyzer, you've got all the correct tools, but you don't really want to pull them out for this job, this does it all for you. In fact, you can use this as a testing tool. Let's say that you're probing some wires and you're trying to find just a subwoofer signal. This will actually let you probe wires, and it'll tell you what band of frequencies are available. For example, let's say you tap into some white wires, you have no idea what they're supposed to do, but this will tell you, are those high frequency, are those mid-band frequency, or are they low band frequency, are they sub-bass frequencies? We have indicators on here to tell you if you've got enough proper signal to add a subwoofer. If you don't get the correct input, you'll never get the correct output, right? So in the old days, if you didn't do all this running through and you just put in an amplifier with an LOC and you ran some wires in, you hooked up a subwoofer, and suddenly you did not get great sub-bass, you weren't sure why, because you didn't actually have sub-bass frequencies to start with. This will tell you what wires you've tapped into if that signal is usable. So it's a testing tool, it's a cleanup tool, it's an installation piece of magic which requires very little understanding of what it's actually doing. So if you're just starting out in your installation career and you haven't yet bought all those great tools, which you should buy anyway, please buy them anyway, this will simplify your life dramatically and it'll shave hours off of your install.
How much is that magic box?
So that's $199.
Yeah.
Right, and I love that feature of the frequency detection. I mean, that's a lifesaver in itself. I mean, so many guys, I've seen dealers, put their ears against speakers and say, okay, I can listen to it. And, all right, that one sounds like a mid-range. It's impossible. You can't do that. Plugging in wires and just watching what the lights do is a no-brainer. Yeah, like Aaron said, the tools are the best way to go, but time is money and perhaps a budget, and you need to bang out a car in an hour and a half, that sort of thing. This is a great solution to make yourself more profitable and save time in the install bay.
And as a solution, I'm going to ask the question, does that only work with kicker amps, or is that a universal piece that could be integrated to any system?
It's universal, Ben. In fact, as Dave pointed out, we've got guys in shops that use this as a testing tool. They don't actually put it in the vehicle, they just use it to test. So once you've got those correct wires, you can then, of course, use this in that install with any brand of amplifiers. And I also wanted to add something that I've now forgotten because I just get so excited about this piece. But for $199, there is nothing that does what this thing can do. And if you, as a shop, if you're working with OEM integration, if you use this every single install with no matter what amplifiers you use, you're going to save so much time and so much hassle, because even if you don't know what that car has for signal, even if you don't know what's got going on there for processing, this will fix all those problems so you don't even have to know what's going on with that factory installed system. So use this on every install and you're going to save a ton of time and a ton of money, because time is money.
No doubt about it. Wow. Pretty impressive. I, for one, was not familiar with the Key lineup of products, and I can totally see how not only do you, the application, Dave, you look at our Canadian retailers, right? We have those top-level fabricators, no question about it. But, the old business model of the deck and four is kind of out the window. However, this right here is kind of like the modern-day deck and four.
Yeah, it definitely is. And, there is a lot of guys that, perhaps some guys that have been around a couple of decades doing installs and maybe resistive to learning new tools. Maybe they're not computer savvy, that sort of thing. This is a game changer for them. I mean, if you still send in orders using a fax machine, chances are something like this is going to be a lifesaver for you.
Absolutely. On that note, Aaron, listen, we've taken so much of your precious time. We thank you guys and the crew behind you over at the studio for coming in on this Christmas Eve day to share with us.
Overhead view?
Yeah, let's just look at this, guys.
Yeah,
I mean,
what an impressive setup.
What an impressive setup. I mean, gosh, what can I say? Kicker leading the way as far as broadcast is concerned. Hey, Aaron, why don't you tell the folks, our listeners and viewers, where people can catch more great Kicker content?
So if you're currently watching Kicker Unmasked every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock Central Time, you are getting the latest and greatest on what's happening at Kicker. And of course, if you're not available at 7 o'clock every Tuesday, you can go to our Kicker YouTube channels, you can go to our Facebook, and you'll get everything that's being done here live. The Unmasked has just taken over what it is that we do in terms of social media and getting out to the consumer. Oh, excuse me, 7:30. Sorry, it's at 7:30. The countdown starts at 7. And it is just, it's been a great way to talk to our retail partners, our distributors, but also the end consumers. If you have end consumers, the guys and girls that come to your shop and they just hang out because they just want to talk about car audio, get those guys and girls involved in our Kicker Unmasked events because they will learn everything they want to know about Kicker. Then they'll come to you, the retail partner, and they'll buy Kicker from you. But before I go, I want to tell you something, that the guys that are here with me today, we've got Tim, we've got Kip, we've got Jeremy. These guys were all taking today off because we did Unmasked last night. But when I told them that we had this opportunity to work with our partners at Gemsen and CMA, they all came in on their day off to make this a great production. So thank you to our crew for being here today on Christmas Eve.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. It's really appreciated. I'm sure our customers really appreciate it. You guys always do a top-notch job making sure that the Canadian guys are up to speed and well-versed. Ben, we really want to thank you guys for inviting us today and having us part of this right before the holidays.
Can I say something, Dave? Anytime Aaron and Team Kicker want to be on CMA, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Look at this production quality. It just makes us look great. I love it. So,
right after this, are the guys going to do their holiday shopping? Is this when it typically starts, like myself?
Holiday shopping? Oh, I think these guys got a cooler in the back filled with some adult beverages. We're going to start with that.
All right. Well, Aaron, I can't thank you enough once again to you and the crew. We will see you very soon. Have a great holiday season. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Aaron.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, guys.
Oh, man.
Well, that's awesome.
Those are pieces of my brain all over the place. Pieces of my brain all over the place. I want that studio right here. To close this out, Dave, again, I can't thank you guys enough at Gemsen for supporting CMA this entire year. And I mean, look, you guys representing brands like Kicker, who literally are at the top of the game, always bringing their A game, pushing the envelope, innovating with products like the ones we talked about today. What message do you have, Dave, for your dealers or dealers maybe interested in the Kicker brand?
Well, obviously, if you have interest in the Kicker brand or we want to learn more about the products, you can reach out to your Gemsen, sales representative. And if you don't know who that is, you could visit our website, www.gemsen.com, and submit an inquiry there. All of us are available to talk to you and see what kind of opportunities we can work out. One of the things that I love about Kicker, it's a legacy brand. They're the original company that they've been from day one, still owned by Steve Irby, and still great group of guys. So they've got an entire great team to back up all the support that you need. They come out with a host of brand new products. A lot of them we'll be talking about probably in the new year, Ben, I would imagine, when we do some future sessions. And they come closer to the launch time. So yeah, visit Gemsen.com if you have some more inquiries. For our dealers, some of you guys may have been using the beta test site for our dealer portal, and that allows guys to go on there right now and see what inventory we have in stock, order it online, makes life a lot easier. You could do that 24/7. And if you haven't logged in yet and you don't have your information, talk to to your rep. So, hey, Ben, before we go, I really want to thank you guys for what you guys are doing for the industry. I think you guys are doing a bang-up job of, getting all these industry leaders together and talking about all the cool things that our industry has to bring to the table. It's super exciting what we do. We're lucky. We're not selling mortgages. We get to sell fun.
And for whatever reason, the wave is it's going good, right? The retailers are experiencing boost in sales. The distributors are experiencing boost in sales, and there seems to be a general boost in interest, whether they're getting back into it or they're discovering it for the very first time. What I think we're lucky as an industry is that we have the goods to go along with that curiosity and that interest, and proven today with the type of products that brands like Kicker are doing. One thing I want to circle back to, Dave mentioned the website, great B2B tool that these guys have set up. It's super easy to use. I've gone through it with Dave, but don't worry. I think they still take fax orders.
That's right.
Hey,
or photographs of handwritten orders. That's another popular.
Dave likes best if you just take a picture on Messenger and just messenger it to him.
Oh yes.
That's his favorite way to take orders.
Messenger, Twitter, it's the new world, right? Hey, Ben, one of the things that we were going to talk about is the dealer opportunity.
Well, I was waiting for you. I was like, are we going to talk about this? Because come on, I know Gemsen's got something to offer, in light of what we've just promoted here.
Yeah, absolutely. Tomorrow we'll post something. We'll make it available to you guys that you guys can post of some special opportunities you can take advantage of with Kicker. We'll highlight a few of the products that we showed today and, get you guys some cool product in your hands to play around with.
Man, thank you. I mean, I'm sure the dealers will be thankful for that. And if you want to know about these deals that distributors such as Gemsen are setting up, we communicate those deals through our exclusive dealer group on Facebook. If you're a shop owner or a shop manager, make sure you message us on Facebook, Canadian Mobile Audio, and we'll get you in our private dealer group so you have access to some of these great deals. Sir, that was an incredible experience. I thank you so much for your time, Dave, and we are looking very forward to 2021 and working with you guys and doing all this great promotion stuff for 2021.
Great. Thank you very much, Ben. And, before we sign off, I want to say happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas and all the best. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. And then as we get into 2021, we look forward to all great things ahead of us for sure.
Perfect. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, sir.
Yeah, same to you. Same to everybody. Take care, guys.
There you have it, folks. Another CMA Connected. This one with a little bit of bells and whistles and definitely some Hollywood production, courtesy of the folks at Kicker and their studio, the Unmasked Studio. As Aaron mentioned, if you want to find out all the information or stay up to date with anything Kicker related, make sure you check out their Unmasked series, which they broadcast. For any information on Kicker, of course, like Dave said, make sure you check out Gemsen. That's it for CMA, the entire crew here for 2020. On behalf of everybody here at CMA, including myself and Frank Spezzano and Marcella and Sheldon and Angela, everybody else is behind the scenes that helped make CMA tick this year. Happy holidays. Stay safe. We are thrilled to be able to be here and help boost the 12-volt Canadian industry, and we are super amped to get into it in 2021 with all of you. I'm your host, Ben Wu for CMA Connected. Until next time, we connect.